Few days before the Farhud, actually I saw a khamsa, somebody put like their hand with red on our door. And I asked my mother, what is that? So she said, well, maybe somebody just made a mistake, or they think that they were Jewish people or something. But they were actually mentioning all the Jewish homes a few days before the Farhud, because they were planning for something like that to happen.
Yeah, all I remember, we left Baghdad a day before the Farhud. We were so scared. We left at night, and a sheikh was with us to protect us. We took the train. The train was full of soldiers. There were no civilian at all. We were the only civilian. And we were all so scared. And before reaching Khanaqin, we saw Rashid Ali and Gilani and Mufti. They were escaping. We saw them in the car. Baba said, oh, here they are. I didn't know. So then, once we got to Kermashan, there was only one hotel there. We stayed there, and we saw all three of them there. They were having breakfast and dinner with us in the same area. And after that, we went to Iran.
We had a cook, and my mother sent him to the shops. We didn't know there is anything wrong. To the shops to get something, to buy something. He came home, and he told my mother, what can I tell you? They are trying the Jewish houses. They break in, they rape the girls, or they kill them, and they take their furniture. And we were in the list, you know, they gave our house, our address. So immediately, we didn't have telephone or anything. My father and my mother and we three children, we went to my aunt.
The first day in the morning, somebody came in the morning, early in the morning. He's the cook of my auntie. Mm. And his face was pale and he was shivering. And he said, you know, I was at the bus. They stopped the bus and they said, all the Jews get out. So they came to him. He's very fair. He didn't look Jewish. He's very fair. They got him out. He said, are you Jewish? He said, I'm Christian. Mm-hmm. They let him go. And he was very lucky. He came over to us. We told him, stay with us. Stay with us, have a rest. We're going to give him a drink, something to eat. After some time, he said, I have to go back to my job. I am the cook.
And unfortunately, on June the 1st, 1941, we suddenly heard people shouting and yelling, and outside our houses, we had a tree, nakhla, at the beginning of the house, and I climbed the tree, and it's about 15 feet high, and I was hiding in between to see what's happening outside. And I saw a lot of men with swords in their hands, with rifles and what kind of things, and they're shouting, "Uqtul al-Yahud, itbah al-Yahud." Kill the Jews, kill the Jews. And I was saying to myself, what the hell did I do at 9 years old that they want to come kill me?
It was time near Shavuot. 7 o'clock in the morning, the milk woman, she used to bring the milk every morning. She came to the back door and she told my mother, let everybody stays in today. She said, why? She said, I don't know, but it's better to stay in. Don't let anybody go out of the house. Half an hour later, she came and she said, come with me. All of you, come with me.
My biggest brother was in an area where they came, and he kept his wife and his children in one room, and when they came, he told them the money is there, the clothes are there, but don't touch the. So they said he's a national one, and only stole everything. He did not. They did not leave him a trousers, but they did not kill the children.
Went and sheltered with our next door neighbor, who was my first cousin, and the looters were passing by. Yeah. And he said, if they turn up and assault my cousins, I'd rather shoot my cousins than lose the honor.
We were still in our pajamas, before breakfast, before anything. We followed her. She took us to her hut, a small room, half the size of this room, mostly bedding. By the time we closed the back door, the front door was broken down, and the mob came in. We didn't see them, luckily. We could hear the noise, the bullets. We closed the door and we sat there. She told us nobody to speak. We could hear bullets. We could hear screaming. We didn't know what was happening. Our parents didn't even, they said to us not to speak, put their fingers on their mouth. We stayed there from 7 o'clock in the morning till 5:30 in the evening. No food, no water, hot. Worst of all, no toilets.
My aunt, they are very rich. They have a very big house. They are in the corner of one street. The other corner, a Muslim solicitor or something like that. But they are in very good terms with him. They sent someone to ask the Muslim solicitor if we can come, and they are not a family of 5. We are about 30 people. They said no problem, come all of it. So we went to this Muslim, and they were, I do still remember the woman asking go and bring yogurt for the children, go and bring coffee, milk, whatever, you know. They were very helpful.
But what I saw is our landlord, who was our next door neighbor, at the time he wore a green hat, let's call it, because he was a Haji. And I saw that he had a chair in front of our house, and when the whole mob came in, they stopped right in front of him, and they were talking to him. But of course I couldn't hear what they said. I only found out later that when they came, they wanted to go into our house. He told them that there was a woman with 9, she's a widow, with 9 children, and she asked for his protection. If they want to go and get them, they have to kill him first. So we were saved by this Muslim Haji. Thank God there were some good people like that. Then they went to our neighbors, and I can hear the screams of women being raped, mutilated.
Apparently there was one army fellow who used to buy, who finished his bullet, used to buy every bullet for 1 dinar. Dinar was £1 then, to kill Jews, if there are any Jews. And he used to say, there were nearly 17 Jewish people in this house. Where are they? Was looking for us. And she said to him, they went in the morning, early morning, they went to the other friend. Her aim was, if we had anything buried or anything hidden, to find out before we would be killed. Because at the end of the evening, at lunchtime, she came, pulled a drawer, and got a saber, a big, long knife, put it in her belt. And my father asked her, Jamila, you will want to sleep in the evening. Where will you put us? He said, we will be digging a big hole. We put you in it and we'll cover you till the morning. And then you come back to the hut. I think my parents understood what's going to happen. By then, we will be killed and we'll be buried in that hole.
We thought, fine, the British are coming. We're going to be all right. I was standing outside my house, and immediately next to us, my neighbor, there was another schoolboy friend of mine. And I said, let us go for a walk. At that time, another Jewish fellow student came along, said, don't go out. They've started killing Jews. Right? Now, it so happened that as he walked towards the end of the street, I saw that he was surrounded by other people. Later, I learned that he was murdered. And that was the night when, how can I describe it to you? There was a lot of, sometimes a period of eerily silence, I suppose, when the marauders were surrounding Jewish people. And then there would be a huge hysterical cry, presumably when a crime was committed. And there was a lot of shrieking and screaming that went on right through the night.
Then after what they did to our neighbors, they set the houses on fire. And that went all night. I don't know if they were alive, but all we know, because what they did is if they saw a radio, they took it. If they saw something interesting, they took furniture and things like that, and then they set the house on fire. But again, all night, like you heard people screaming and yelling, crying, and you couldn't do anything. There were some people we saw them jumping from house to house, running away. And we were saved from that whole street. We were the only one who were saved, actually, really.
A friend of my father who was in the army, his name was Qasim. He was looking for my father. He knew about the pogrom. He was looking for my father. He kept on ringing, but of course the phone was taken, was cut. So he came in this fellow's car to look for us. What he found, the house was empty, literally empty. Even the windows were taken out. The doors were taken out. The banisters were taken out. And there were only papers in the house. And our cat, we used to have a cat, she was meowing all the time. And there was no sign of life at all.
I was in my brother's house during the celebration, and I had to go back to home, and my brother advised me not to go in the new street, but I go in the old street called Rashid. All those who went back from the new street called Ghazi Street were killed. They used to stop all the buses and see who is Jew, and they kill him. And I and one of my relatives went by foot all the street, all the street, and we arrived safely.
So we took a carriage, and I sat in my father's lap, and all the time he used to put his hand on my eyes so that I don't see what is in the street, especially Shara al-Rashid. Either the blood on the ground or the stores were looted and broken. So there was a sort of a chaos everywhere, and police was here and there. Yeah. So finally we arrived at our home, and first thing, the door was broken. There was they broke the lock of the door and went inside. When we went inside, the house was simply empty. There was nothing. They took all the furniture, all the food. All what is left is some grains of rice on the floor.
So he asked the people, where are these people who lived in this house? He pulled his gun and he said, I will shoot you if you don't tell me. He said to him, I know where they are and I will take you to them. So he came in these little narrow alleyways, calling Saleh. But this woman, Jamila, told us not to speak and not to make a noise, or that nobody would know that we were there. We didn't answer. Saleh, Saleh, Saleh. At the end he came and he said, Saleh, I am Qasim. So we came out. He took us to this car. We couldn't fit. So many of us. Who do you leave behind? Those that are left behind will be killed. In those days, the car used to have a platform. And then you open the door. So they stood on the platform, put their hand round the windows, and we all fitted in.
So my father said, I'm going to bring some food. So where we go, where to sit? We found a newspaper. My mother put it on the floor, and my brother slept on that. And then my father went to bring something. He came back. He brought just a few pieces of cheese, some dates, one pita, and he said everything is closed. There is nowhere to get things. And he went to the stores to buy some dishes. He could get only one dish and two knives.
Oh my
and
God.
I still keep one of the knives as a souvenir till today.
The next day, my father took us to get the passport renewed, and he took us immediately. After a few days, he took us out. We went to my brother in Iran. I registered in an American school for a year and a half, and then we went to India.
Well, actually, after the Farhud, all the young Jews, almost all of them, became political. There were two movements, political movements. One is the communist and one is Zionist. And many people went to the Zionist movement, and many went to the communist. And you have sometimes in the family, one brother is Zionist, the other is communist. And
I joined the Makhtarat only later when I was 16 years old, because we figured at the time we're not going to have that again happening to us as the Farhud, because if another time is going to happen, we're going to have to be ready, because we were not ready in 1941. We thought everything was good. We are Iraqis, we are citizens. There is a police that will protect us. But that was not so. And so this is really one infamous day that I shall never forget.
You felt you are a second-class citizen. You felt you are Jewish and you are not wanted. You are taken advantage of. My sibling, we all felt the same thing. I mean, it gave us a shock. It gave us an outlook on life that we have to hide. We were not proud to be Jewish.